Right, good afternoon everybody. We decided that we were going to do something slightly different than a presentation. We're going to have sort of like a very quick fireside chat to introduce everybody to Sandfire Resources and get some perspectives from Cath. So without much further ado, let's welcome Cath and just ask her quickly take us through the Sandfire story so far.
Yeah. Okay, so Sandfire is a copper company, a copper mining company. We're based in WA, listed on the stock exchange in about 2004. Our market cap has reached just over $7 billion. We have mines in Botswana and Spain and an 87% share in Sandfire America, which owns a fully permitted pre-feasibility staged operation in Montana.
Okay, so that's a good introduction. Tells us where Sandfire has been. I think some of your operations, particularly the one in Africa, is fascinating. I'd like to sort of ask you what makes Sandfire different? What makes you as a different kind of copper producer to other companies out there?
Look, from my perspective, if you look at it from a sustainability lens, it's really our commitment to communities. So I think that idea of really giving back to communities, but also the fact that the communities can give so much to us. So I think sustainability is often thought as a one-way thing. It's often thought of as a cost. But if you are working with your communities to get your social licence to operate, if you are providing those opportunities to your communities through employment and procurement, you're not only helping those communities to become self-sustaining after you've gone, after your mine's closed off, but you're also providing those benefits to your own business as well. You've got those employees that are locally based. You'll have those opportunities to buy local products. For our mine in Botswana, we've only been open now for 2 years, but we have over 95% of our employees are from Botswana. We have brought in some people, some expats. There are some from Australia. There are others from all over the world. But a big part of that has been, us sharing our expertise in mining with Botswana. And also providing those opportunities through local community programs as well. We can also learn a lot from Botswana. There's a big focus on education, tertiary education for people in Botswana, but we are really investing in them through education ourselves, those, and the taxes we pay as well. There's some great community initiatives that we've been involved in, and I think from my perspective, it's about meaningful contributions. It's about those programs that are going to really benefit the community. So understanding what are the issues in that community and how can you have the biggest benefit. In Botswana, domestic violence is quite a big issue. And that really comes down to, the crux of it is diversity and respect as well. So really having a focus on employee opportunities for women. We have 24% of our employees are female in Botswana. We know we can do better, so it's something we're working on. But the average in the industry sits at about 12%, so it's double what the industry is. And then we've got some domestic violence programs. There's some support that we give communities and victims of domestic violence. We're working with them to provide those training opportunities. We have a community garden that is on our land. We provide all the resources and we bring in victims of domestic violence and train them how to grow fruit and vegetables, which they can then use for their own families, but then they can sell on to other mines in the area as well to use those products in their messes at the mine sites. There is a real shortage of fresh fruit and vegetables in Botswana. A lot of it is brought in from South Africa. So we think skills like that can really benefit Botswana and the community. It wouldn't be something that would work so well in Australia. So that's my advice, is find out what the issues are in your community and how you can do things a little bit differently to benefit them.
Swinging a little bit to talk about the environmental part, obviously Sandfire has a lot of shareholders that are pension funds.
Yep.
do they want you to become more environmentally conscious? Is decarbonization something that they, if I put pressure on you to do? How does that sort of work for you?
Yeah, so our largest shareholders are Australian superannuation funds. They really want us to do well in the whole sustainability area. So not just on climate change, community programs, cultural heritage is a big issue for us in Australia, and it's something that we regularly get questions on. How are we working with the traditional owners in Australia? What are we doing to protect cultural heritage? But climate change has been a big issue for our shareholders and wider stakeholders as a whole. But there is legislation that has now come in, and under Corporations Act, companies that earn over a certain amount now need to report on their climate change, the actions they're taking, their emissions, under AASB S2. So we're Group 1, so we have to do our first reporting this year. So it's of a lot of interest to shareholders, a lot of interest to other people as well, like our employees as well are very interested in what we do in the sustainability space. What you'll find particularly of interest is for younger generations and for women. The research has shown that they really look at their next employee, they look at how they're performing from a sustainability perspective and decide whether or not they'll actually work for that company. It's not just about money anymore.
It is not just about money, but sustainability has to pay for itself in some ways as well. If you're looking at a mine like your one in Botswana, which is on the western side of Botswana, right now the ore is trucked to a port in Namibia. That's a fairly long road trip. How difficult is it, and how much do you sort of think about how you're going to decarbonize and make those operations more sustainable?
Yeah, decarbonisation is tricky, and I think at the moment 71% of our power across Sandfire comes from renewable sources. We've got 100% of our power in Spain from renewable sources. So that's really what we're going to focus on first in Botswana. And we're having conversations with the government and third parties to really see what those opportunities are, how can we get renewables for our own mine site, and what we might be able to do for local communities as well. For us, that's the priority. Later on, we'll be looking at those other options that look at, electric vehicles, or would training ore from one of our operations be more sustainable. So we look at that bigger picture, and a lot of our mines are doing contracting work. So how can we partner with our contractors to really decarbonise as well?
Okay, I think we're getting close to the end. I think a sort of good final question is, Sandfire is Australian-based, but your operations are not. How do you go about selecting where you want to make your investments, and how easy is it to sort of run a global company from Perth? Yep. And basically, what does the future hold for Sandfire?
Well, we were operating in Australia, so that was our first mine, was DeGrussa near Meekatharra in WA. We'd love to be operating in Australia again, but everyone probably here knows it's very difficult to get a reasonably priced copper asset at the moment, especially in Australia. We love operating in Spain and Botswana. Both of those countries are very supportive of our operations there. They're very stable economies. I think we'd be looking for something similar for anything future. There's a lot of criteria we look at. There's certain countries that we wouldn't go into for various reasons. Luckily, Spain and Botswana are on the same time zone, so that makes things a bit easier. If we go ahead with investing in our Black Butte project in Montana, that is another complicating factor. But for now, our head office is in Perth, and we think there's a lot of mining expertise based in Perth, so it makes sense for us to maintain that office.
Well, I think that actually wraps up our time. Thank you very much, Cath.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you for the audience.
Thanks.